This week we're going to start the process of painting the halo, so all of your lines should be etched. Take your etching tool and just go over, make sure that you haven't missed anything major, and if you do, just go ahead and finish it and etch it. Remember, you should be able to hear that kind of clicking noise as you go over. If you can't feel or hear anything, it might not be deep enough. First thing we're going to do is actually lay down a few layers of Venetian red. The colors are here. There's a few different shades of red, brown, maybe 2 different shades of yellow, so we just want to be careful that we're going to use the right one here. We're going to get a painting tray, and you just need the slightest little bit. I'm actually going to just fill one of these. Not fill, sorry. I'm just going to put like 2 little drops. If you need more, you can get more, but this is a good time to kind of experience how much paint you actually need to paint something. It's very, very little, and we don't want to be, wasting paint, because eventually we'll start mixing colors, and if you mix too much, you'll just have way too much extra. Right now, it's the consistency of, I don't know. In the book, it says sour cream, but you want it to be heavy cream, so you definitely want it to be a little bit liquidy. I'm just gonna put a spritz of water, and then we're gonna mix it. Okay, don't mix it with your paintbrush. I don't have something to mix it right now with, so I'm actually gonna mix it with the end of one of these paintbrushes, because we don't wanna shove paint up into these bristles. It will be a pain to try to clean those out. So if we can keep the paint out of here, our lives will be easier. I'll get some like toothpicks or something, or popsicle sticks to mix all the paint, because we will be mixing a lot of paint and be mixing water. So, okay, actually I need even more water. That's better. I'm gonna go a little bit more. Now, when you actually paint icons, you use kind of an egg tempera, which we talked about, which is very natural. You're using like egg whites and like actual minerals for pigmentation. So it's a very translucent kind of process. And we are going to lay down our first layer of red paint on the halo. We're gonna paint this entire section. We wanna make sure we have nice crisp lines. We don't want to go outside of the halo. We don't want to go into Jesus's hair, but we do want to go up until those points. So I'm going to be very slow and diligent here as I follow the outline of Jesus's head. We don't want it to be super thick the first time. It's okay that my whiteboard's showing through. That's fine. I'm going to put more than 1 layer on. Probably 2 to 3, so we can get a really nice rich base underneath it. The reason we do red first is because when you put the gold leafing on top of the red, it shows through much warmer than if you were just to put it on white. If you were just laying it on white, it would be kind of tinny, dull. It just wouldn't show. So the red really adds warmth to this process. Feel free to turn your panel as you need. One thing to keep in mind is you can kind of see these, this really dark spot. I have a lot of paint there. It's like a little mountain. I do want to avoid that if possible, because, oh boy, what did I do? I didn't even see that happen. All right, I'll probably sand that a little bit. Be careful. Oh, I got it on my pinky. Be careful as you do this. We don't want those mountains, because when we put the gold leafing on, we want this surface to be as smooth as possible, because the gold is going to kind of show whatever's underneath it. You'll be able to like see your lines and everything. So if we have these mountains, they will show through, and the gold halo will be uneven. We can do a little bit of sanding before we put the gold on, but if we can avoid sanding, or if we can avoid, sanding mountains, that would be good. If we need to do a little bit of sanding, that's fine. That's normal. We're not gonna be able to be perfect about this. And we don't wanna go so much that we just like are constantly trying to get rid of the mountains. So nice and thin. The beauty about the thin layer is it's going to dry faster too. We're not going to be sitting there forever waiting for this to dry. We should be able to get all 3 layers done. And probably also the gold leafing all in one period, if we use our time wisely here. Okay, being very careful. Okay, that's 1 layer. A few tests you can do to see if it's dry. You can hold it up to the light, see if there's any shiny spots at all. You don't want any shiny spots. When you think it's dry, then also touch it. If it feels kind of cool or cold, there's a spider crawling on my microscopic spider. If it feels cool or cold, it still has moisture in it and it's not dry. And so you do want to wait. You want to wait till it's completely dry before you do your next layer. Okay, take a look at my paint. See how much paint I have left? It's like I didn't even use any. So honestly, we can probably share paint at this point, but you need so little paint. Never more than one of these full wells for sure, like half a one. All right, I will come back when that is dry and paint the second layer. All right, ready for layer number 2. Oh my goodness, I did it again. See that? It's okay, we all make mistakes. It'll be okay, we'll figure it out. Paint over it. We're still being very careful about not painting Jesus's head. Okay, and we're just gonna do that all the way around. This is looking good. So this is 2 layers. And on the heater, which is currently not on, it's just kind of, feels a little hot still. This probably took 3 minutes to dry. So definitely feasible to be able to finish gold leafing today. The longest thing on gold leafing is waiting for the special glue to dry when we do that. So I'll tell you more about that later. Yeah, I think 3 layers might be good. It's a good base. Okay, well, I'll finish this 3rd layer and we'll see what it looks like. This is 3 layers of paint. This is perfect. It does not need to be like a solid color. It's dry, it's warm, straight off the heater. So it's ready to go. And you can see how much leftover paint I have. We don't need Venetian red all by itself for anything else. So this just has water in it. I might try to pour this back in because I haven't mixed it yet. But if it was a mixture and I didn't need it, I would just have to dump all this paint. So we don't need that much paint. Very, very, very little. Next step is going to be applying the gold size, which is a fancy name for the glue that will adhere the gold leafing. Once we've finished the 3 layers of Venetian red and it's completely dry, we're going to apply this gilding adhesive. And this is specifically for applying gold leaf. It's kind of a milky texture. So I'm just gonna use a little bit and I can always get more if I need. But I want my Venetian red to be completely dry. I don't want to be picking up any red paint. So you can see it's liquidy. And I have a few special paintbrushes for this. They're nothing special except we used them last time for this and they just didn't quite get clean. So they're kind of stiff still, but they'll work. We're going to use them for the same glue so we don't ruin any more of these and just the few that I have. So the trick with this is wherever you put glue is where the gold leaf is going to stick. So if you accidentally put glue in Jesus's head, you will get gold on Jesus's head. So we want to be very careful about where this glue is going. We don't want any dry spots either, because a dry spot would result in no gold. And it's a little bit harder to try to repair a hole than just make sure we get it the first time. Like with the paint, we don't want too many mountains, meaning pools and puddles, because they'll dry at a different speed than everything else. Okay, well, I will finish this and then explain what we're gonna do next. All right, I've finished gluing this entire red section. You can see I still have glue left, so it takes the tiniest bit to finish this, and we're just gonna do one coat. And then I picked up my panel and I kind of held it to the light to make sure that there were no bald spots. And I put a little bit more right here because it seemed like it needed some. Now we're actually gonna let this dry, not completely, but there is a very specific point in time, get that bubble out, where the glue turns from wet to tacky. And tacky's like the backside of a piece of tape. Like when I go press it, it's gonna feel like I'm touching a piece of tape. And it's gonna dry kind of clear. So there's a little bit of white here still, so I know it's still wet. I'm not gonna test it because I can see that it's still wet. Oop, I should not do that. It's pulling up the glue. Okay, once you glue, just leave it. So I'll come back in a few minutes and test it to see if it's ready for the gold to be laid down. It's been about 5 minutes and my halo is ready. There's no more white glue showing, and I can tell it's ready because if I take my knuckle and I rub very gently, it's gonna make a squeaking noise, and you can kind of feel it's sticky. Now we don't want to be touching it. We don't want to transfer our oils onto the entire halo, but you can just tap a little section and know that it is ready. So here we go. I'm gonna get my gold leaf here. It's very fine, and if you breathe too hard, it will go everywhere. So this is a very meticulous process. Now this is not real gold, this is imitation gold, but it is still as fine and delicate. So I actually might be able to get this whole halo in one sheet. Now I don't want to waste any, but okay, there we go. So I'm not gonna tap this, but I'm just going to rub gently on my halo. This might be perfect. Just gonna pull. Oh. Okay, let me keep going. It's not ready to come off yet. Well, we might not be able to pull it off in sheets like I was hoping. We might just have to kind of rip apart this gold leaf here. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna just set this to the side. Well, it is on there. It is stuck, but it is not tearing as I want it to. There we go. Okay, we're just gonna push it along. All right, well, this will not be as usable as I thought, but we're still going to, we're not gonna crumple it and toss it. We're gonna save it here. This is just a very soft brush. There we go. All right, we're not gonna pull. We're just gonna let the brush do it here. There we go. Maybe I should have waited a little bit longer. Oh, there's a clean edge. So my edge is not super clean, but that's okay. When I go to paint, Jesus' hair, I'm not gonna worry about it now. I will just extend it a little bit farther here. Just kind of rub this around the edges. Same with the edge of the halo. I'm not gonna worry that it's not super clean. I can cover that. We're gonna paint a red arc around the halo and we can kind of clean up that edge. There we go, just push it along. Okay. All right, then we're just gonna take a really soft brush and just make sure we have no bits hanging up here. And I can see, I don't know if you can see, but I can see my lines of where the letters are gonna go and where those straight lines are gonna go. We wanna brush all the gold leaf off the panel. We don't want any floating around to get stuck in our paint later, because that will be impossible to try to get out of our paint. And Jesus is gonna have gold highlights or something. Okay, that looks pretty good. And there's a little bit of a, it's like it tore here, my gold leaf. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's okay. Makes it unique. Okay, once you've got that all done, yay, we're gonna just paint that red line. So I will show you how that's gonna look. Okay, we've arrived at the last step, is to paint the red line around the outside of the halo. So I've rigged some of the compasses. I took out the lead and I shoved in the tip of a paintbrush. So this is what we're gonna use. I've opened it up. These ones just open with this wheel here. You can turn it in and out. And I'm gonna go from, I'm gonna put the pointy side in that hole that I've basically made at the bridge of Jesus's nose, and make sure that the paintbrush is touching the edge here. Okay, I have my my paint already mixed up, ready to go. We're gonna do a practice round first, just to make sure that everything is working and that my paintbrush is gonna cooperate with me. And I would definitely recommend practicing this, because I want you to be able to do this one by yourself. Okay, not bad. I think I put too much water in this paint. Let's try again. Nice. Now the beauty of this is if you run out of paint, like you can see on this arc, I've run out of paint. My hole on Jesus' face will be in the same spot, so I can go get more paint and I can put it in the same spot and then continue my circle. I can kind of repair little spots if it seems like I put too much paint in one spot and not enough paint in another spot. So here we go. Hopefully you can see this. My hand is like shaking. You can see the line's not super even. That's okay. I will just make it thicker. Here we go. Stop and did this side. It's going on top of my gold leafing here, which I might just adjust this and make it go a little bit farther out and kind of finagle it here as I go. All right, let's do a second round here, see what we can get. Not bad. This is much easier than trying to etch the halo. It's a very light touch. We don't have to press. I'll finish this up, and that is going to be our goal for class next time. Our goal for our next class. All right, so hopefully we can finish that. next class period, and then we can move on to the next step.